So we're holding in Masechet Pesachim, Daf Yud Beis Amud Aleph, the 12th A1, and start from the top. Ela Ozar Rav Huna Brei Rabbi Yehuda, right? Here you go. So, Ozal Rav Huna Brei de Rav Yehuda. Rav Huna, the son of Rav Yehuda, went. Omar Lishma to Kamei de Rav. He related by a statement in the presence of Rava. Omar, Rava, what was Abaya's statement? It says Abaya's statement. We learned it yesterday. That was Abaya's statement. Omar Abaye, Shetim Tzon Dir Omer Odom Teu Mashu, Dir Rabbi Yehuda Teu Shom Mashu. He said, if somebody makes a mistake, according to Abaye, he explaining Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, he would make a mistake only slightly in the time. Let's say you come and you say, "Oh, I saw." Yeah, Nishmat Zohar Vadina. And Zilpa and Charnia but Lipman, right? That's the. So he says a person would make a slight mistake. What does that mean? If let's say we both witnessed a crime, and if I say I saw it at 2:00, you said you saw it at 3:00. It's happening. We both witness this, and I say 2:00, you say 3:00. So according to Rabbi Meir, it's still okay because maybe I saw it at 2:59 and you saw it at 3:01. So meaning you still see, we both saw it. It's a slight mistake. It's not an hour. Yeah. Comes Rabbi Yehuda, it says that people would even make a bigger mistake, and that would translate this to how much time do I need, how much space. Safety space do I need between stopping to eat chametz and burning the chametz? Because if I will tell people to stop eating chametz at exactly the time where they're not allowed to eat chametz, they might make a mistake in time and eat chametz, and because they think, oh, I still have a little bit more time. Always people try to stretch a little bit more. Say, so according to Rabbi Meir, people will make only a slight mistake, so therefore we can eat for a little bit longer. According to Rabbi Yehuda, people make a larger mistake in time, an hour or half an hour, and therefore I need to be more cautious. So that was how Rabbi Abaye explained the machloket between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. So as Rav Huna Brei de Rabbi Yehuda, Rava, he went and he said it before Rava, and Amar. So Rabbi responded to him, if we would examine these witnesses and find that this one who said the third hour meant the beginning of the third hour, and the one who said fifth hour meant at the end of the fifth hour, so it's like a gap of 3 hours, the beginning of the third hour at the end of the fifth hour, or two full hours, from 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and 5 to 6, because it's the end of the fifth hour, so it's 3 hours. So it would be contradictory testimony, because it's too much of a gap, so I can't believe these witnesses. One said they saw the crime at 3:00, and one said he saw it at 6:00, at the end of the fifth hour. So it's too much of a gap, and therefore, edut mukheshet. Edut mukheshet means contradictory testimony. You say one thing, I say something else. We're not going to execute, we're not going to kill the person, the murderer, right? Then we will now go and execute the accused out of doubt. Of course we're not going to do it. We're not killing anybody out of doubt. The merciful one said clearly that the congregation shall judge. They have to be a very thorough examination and judgment. And the congregation shall save the accused, meaning you have to do all the efforts possible to save to save not the victim, in a way the oppressor, the criminal. Yeah, the one that is being accused. According to Rabbi Meir, a person errs slightly less than 2 hours. That's what he can make a mistake. A little bit less, so an hour and 45 minutes, an hour and 50 minutes. A person can make a mistake. He's still saying the truth. According to Rabbi Yehuda, a person errs slightly less than 3 hours. So the difference between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda is the difference of an hour. 2 hours or 3 hours. To him, according to Rabbi Meir, 2 hours of mistake still means that you're saying the truth. According to Rabbi Yehuda, 3 hours, even 3 hours is you're still saying the truth. The two witnesses. Because one of the things they would do at the Beis Din, the Sanhedrin, if they would be judging a capital case, a case that has to do with life and death situation, they would try to find contradictions in the investigation. Like so they don't have to kill the guy. So they would ask you questions. Let's say you and I are witnesses. So they ask you questions, and then they will tell you go to another room.
Then they ask you a question.
And I was trying to do what it's called cross-examination. Cross-examination that I'm examining what I heard from you, and now they're examining what they heard from me. So according to Rabbi Meir, if you said it happened at 2 o'clock and I said it happened at 4 o'clock, it's still normal. It's still within a normal time.
So what's
according to Rabbi Yehuda, even if it was 3 hours difference, it's still okay. And the Maaseh Ki'ava, it says there was actually an incident occurred either in the beginning of the second hour or at the end of the third hour. The testimony is still valid. Because at worst one of them erred slightly less than 2 hours. According to Rabbi Yehuda, person errs slightly less than 3 hours. Maaseh Ki'ava, even if we assume that the incident occurred, either in the beginning of the third hour or at the end of the fifth, the testimony is still valid. Because at worst, one of them errs slightly less than 3 hours. It says in the Mishnah, this is a Mishnah in Sanhedrin, it speaks about investigations that they would do. So it says they would do 7 investigations, 7 questionings, 7 standard questions. What was the main questions? Be'ez Shavua, Be'ez Shana, Be'ez Chodesh, Bekama B'Chodesh, what date? Be'ez Yom, Be'ez Shah, Be'ez Makom. In one place. There's the first 7 questions. You said something, and now you saying something, and I have to check if it's the same. Writing down. You say, "We're having Sunday? Okay. What year? What hour?
What time?
What place?" And, everything. 7 questions. So you have to,
in order to save from kill. So if you don't kill him, what are they going to give him as a punishment?
That's called interrogations. It's not just questions, it's interrogations. It's Tanan. What's the difference between chakirot and bdikot? What's the difference between questions and interrogations? Both questions, I'm asking you, chakirot and bdikot. So chakirot, amar echad men eini yodea. One says, I don't know. He said, ask him, what week was it? Eini yodea. The whole testimony is out. Edutan betela. Testimony is negated. B'dikot, the supplementary questions, more questions. Afilu shneim omrim einanu yodim edutam kayemet. If both say we don't know, edutam kayemet. If one says I don't know, it's a problem. If two of them say we don't know, we're not sure exactly what he was wearing, edutam kayemet. the testimony is valid. It says in 14, the judges posed the supplementary questions only with the objective of eliciting. So remember, we said, what's the difference between chakirot and bdikot? There are 7 questions, and then there are supplementary questions, meaning there are more questions on top, like what he was wearing.
To find contradictions.
Was it under a tree? It wasn't under a tree. If it was under a tree, they say, what tree was it? Fig tree. Okay, what type is the black ones or the green ones?
Wow.
What type of figs?
Making everything difficult. Till the guy say, you know what? I give up.
No, so
they say
to find contradiction.
Right, to find the contradiction.
So if one of them said it was a fig tree, the other one says, I don't know. I don't know which tree it was.
That's it.
But if both of them said, we don't know what tree it was, they do tam kayemet.
Right.
But that's only on the supplementary questions. The
After
extra,
the 7.
after the first 7.
After the first 7, okay.
So if they fail one of the 7, they're out.
Yeah.
Right away they're out. If it's one of the 7. They ask you what day and you say you don't know, that they're not even listening to you. But we ask you what was he wearing? Was it a red shirt or was it a white shirt? And you say, I don't know. Both of them say I don't know, then it's fine. But if both of them say, one said he was wearing a blue shirt and the other one says I don't know, then ain't it the tam kayemet.
He's free.
Yeah. Ravinan ba, we asked about the Mishnah. Ma'ishna chakirot or ma'ishna bdikot. We asked what's the difference between standard questions and the supplementary questions. V'amrinan chakirot. In the case of the standard question, shavua, chodesh, day, so on, amar echad me'en ani yodea adutam v'tila. If one says I don't know, the testimony is right away batel. Why? Because it is testimony that cannot be refuted through hazama. Cannot be refuted through hazama. What does it mean? To refute testimony through hazama, it says in 16, a second set of witnesses must testify that at the time the events recounted by the first witnesses are supposed to have happened, or supposed to have happened. The first witnesses are actually elsewhere. So if I ask you, if I'm the judge and I ask you, and you both are the witnesses, and you tell me that the crime happened, I'm asking when did the crime happen? So if you say Sunday, then we can have hazama. What does it mean, hazama? I can say, okay, I heard your testimony, go home. You go home. And then I asked who, anybody else saw something. Anybody else can tell me something about what happened. And coming another 2 sets of witnesses, and they said that you both said that you saw on Sunday something happening in Boca Raton. And the other 2 witnesses said that's not possible because we were both, these 2 guys, you and him, were in Miami with me at the same. That's hazama. That you discredit what the first witness is saying. How is it possible that they saw what they saw on Sunday? If they were with us in Miami, in a different place, so it's not possible. But if you guys say I don't know, I ask you what day it happened, you say I don't know. How can I refute what you say? There's nothing to refute because you say I don't know. That's why the criminals, that's the best answer. I don't know. I never heard of anything. I don't know.
Who did this? We don't know. Nobody knows. Who was here? Nobody. In the army was the same thing. I know there. It's easy way out. I tell my wife sometimes the same thing. When they used to call her to ask her help for IRS, they got caught paying taxes, money. They didn't pay taxes. So I start telling her, don't tell him what to do. Give him the number and let him call by themselves. In the beginning, she wanted to help. I said, are you crazy? You'll be out of job. They'll throw you out. Yeah. Don't ever tell anybody you can help him. Here's the number. Call IRS.
אמרינן חקירות, אמר אחד, דעה ואלה עדות שאתה יכול להזימה. בדיקות, עדות שאתה יכול להזימה. There's still testimony that can be refuted through hazama. It says in 17, with regard to supplementary questions, failure to answer one of them will not prevent a second set of witnesses from claiming that the accusing witnesses were in different location at the time of the alleged offense. Whether the accused was wearing black clothes or white ones has no bearing on the time and place of the offense. So the first 7 questions are the most important because they can be refuted. But if you both testifying that the accused was wearing white and coming another 2 sets of witnesses and saying that they was wearing black, it's not going to change anything.
Because the 7 first.
What difference does it make? He was wearing black or white. He still did it, right?
After the 7.
Yeah, so the 7 is the most important one because they can be refuted.
Because they want them to fail in the first 7. Once they fail, like you said, if they fail in the first 7, that's it, it's over.
Right. They're trying
Save
everything
his
they
life.
can. Everything they can to save his life. And if you say that a person errs so much that the standard questions of which hour also, is testimony that cannot be refuted to Azam. If we're going to be flexible with the hour, like we said about Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, so with over here also, it says it's going to be a duchet echol, meaning you both are going to say it happened at 1 o'clock, and come another set of witnesses it happened at 3 o'clock,
It's okay.
4 o'clock. It's a big deal. So what? It still doesn't change the fact. It's going to be a duchet echol. It's going to be a testimony that cannot be refuted. So the Avinu Lekulu, right? The Avinu Lekulu Tautayu, for we give them room for all of their mistake. The Gemara first illustrates its answer with the case where one witness said the incident occurred during the 2nd hour, and the other witness said it was the 3rd hour. The Rabbi Meir, we give them from the beginning of the 1st hour to the end of the 5th hour. And by rights we should give them more beforehand. Except that people do not err between day and night. So back then, when we say 2, 3, or 4 o'clock, remember it's not the 2, 3 o'clock that we mean today. It's the hours. They would count the hours by from sunrise to sunset. So sunset would be the 1st hour of the day. Sunrise is the 1st hour of the day, and sunset is the last hour of the day. So it still be. Remember, there was a big difference if somebody says the 4th hour, for example, and then the 7th hour, because the one would be day and night. Day and night, it's already a big difference. So Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yehuda, we give them from the beginning of the 1st hour to the end of the 6th hour. And by rights we should give them more time before, because of first witnesses. So people do not make a mistake, do not err between day and night. If they make such a mistake, they're probably lying. And by rights we should give the other witness more time ahead. In the 5th hour, the sun is in the east. The 7th hour, the sun is in the west. Tenan Rabbi Meir Omer, Ko ochlin kol 5 v'sofim b'tchilat 6. We may eat chametz the entire 5th hour of the day, which is maybe 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. V'sofim b'tchilat 6, but we must burn it at the beginning of the 6th hour. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, ochlin kol 4, we may eat chametz the entire 4th hour. V'tolin kol 5, but we suspend it the entire 5th hour. V'sofim b'tchilat 6, and we must burn it at the beginning of the 6th hour. So we have two opinions, Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, of when do we need to eat, up to what time we are allowed to eat chametz, and when is the time to burn the chametz. Rabbi Meir says, up to the entire 5th hour you can eat chametz, and you have to burn it at the beginning of the 6th hour. Rabbi Yehuda says, you eat the entire 4th hour of the day. The 5th hour, it's in between time, that you should not you should not eat chametz, and you don't have to burn the chametz. You can still derive benefit from the chametz. And the 6th hour is time to burn the chametz. So Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda both are telling us to burn the chametz at the 6th hour. The only question is, what do we do in the 5th hour? If we're allowed to eat or not allowed to eat. According to Rabbi Meir, we're allowed to eat in the 5th hour. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you're not supposed to eat chametz in the 5th hour. 5th hour of the day, which could be 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock.
What's the beginning of the hour of the day start? What time?
Because the day depends it's summer or winter.
So that's why you can't say 12 if it's not. You don't know when it
No,
starts.
I'm saying we know that every year it's about between 10:30, 10:45. It's a time of Sefat Chametz.
Yes.
So,
How we came to the conclusion that that's the time?
Today we do it to be safe, or much earlier. We do it. But
usually that's what we do, 10:30.
But if sunrise is 6 o'clock, for example, so 6 is the 1st hour, 7, 8, 9, 10 is the 5th hour. See, 10 is the 5th hour of the day. 6th hour, 11 o'clock, Sefat Chametz. So you see how we, at the end, we follow the opinion of Meir and Rabbi Yehuda about Sefat Chametz. The 6th hour is the time for burning the Chametz. The question is, what do we do with the 5th hour? Can I eat chametz? According to Rabbi Meir, I'm allowed to eat chametz in the 5th hour because I'm not going to make such a big mistake in time. It's very like the end of the 2nd hour, the beginning of the 3rd hour.
Not to eat. If you have a doubt, don't eat.
Right.
But Rabbi, if you eat hard,
some people have
desire.
No, they have a nice Danish, expensive Danish. I don't know, something delicious. Why would I prevent them from eating it?
Rabbi, my mother used to give us hard-boiled eggs and boiled potatoes. So there's no chametz there. You're hungry, no problem. What do you think?
Yeah, but in the morning you're allowed to eat chametz.
Yeah,
no, but we're talking about the hour that you nuts.
The last minute. Right?
Yes.
No, according to Rabbi Meir, you're allowed to eat chametz all the way till Sefat Chametz. According to Rabbi Yehuda, we have an in-between time. You are allowed to eat the entire 4th hour. The 5th hour you have to wait. You don't have to burn the chametz, but you're not supposed to eat chametz. You can sell the chametz. You can feed it to the dog. Make business with it. But don't eat.
You're supposed to burn it, not feed the dog.
No, between 5 and 6.
If it's left over, yeah.
That's why I call it the in-between time.
Right.
So, in this Mishnah, Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda both advance the biblical prohibition against eating chametz from midday to earlier in the morning in order to avoid mistake in timekeeping. The Gemara therefore asks, La Abaya aliba de Rabbi Meir. Abaya says, like Rabbi Meir, the Amar en adam to'eh velo klum. Said a person does not make a mistake in calculating the time at all. Like I ask you, what time is it? Without looking at your watch, you'll say, you're not going to make a big mistake. You're not going to say 7 o'clock. No. You'll say it's 8:45. It's 9 o'clock.
A little bit off.
Yeah, but that's how Rabbi Meir sees it. Uleach lishna. We should be permitted to eat chametz the entire 6th hour, right up until the time it becomes prohibited. So according to Rabbi Meir, if a person is not going to make such a mistake, we're challenging Rabbi Meir. We're challenging Abaya that it explains Rabbi Meir. It says, if a person only and even according to that version, which said that a person makes a mistake, a small mistake, errs slightly, we should be permitted to eat chametz until the end of the 6th hour, just before midday. Why then does Rabbi Meir hold that the rabbis advance the prohibition to the beginning of the 6th hour? Why to advance the prohibition? Why to bring it to make it earlier? Let's burn the chametz at the end of the 6th hour, not at the 6th.
This is like muktzeh. Like muktzeh. Don't touch. You're gonna be using. So stop
Right.
eating before.
That's what we, in reality, that's what we do. But if we go along these lines, there's no end to this, because you say, you know what? The 14th, you have to burn the chametz at 10 o'clock. Let's rule out the entire 14. Then will come somebody else and says, you know what? 13 is also a problem. Because people eat the 13, they'll eat on the 14th of Nisan. They eat on 14, they'll come to eat. So you have to draw the line somewhere. And obviously, whoever wants to be machmir, you can be machmir on himself. No problem. What is the halacha? So they're trying to figure out what is the halacha. Obviously, I'm sure that they didn't eat till the last minute. V'Abaye lived Rabbi Yehuda, according to Abaye, in accordance to Rabbi Yehuda, the Amar Adam Torah Chatzi Shah. Abaye said that according to Rabbi Yehuda, a person can make a mistake up to half an hour, not more, not less, about half an hour. Nechul ad parga the sheet. We should be permitted to eat chametz until the middle of the 6th hour, a half hour prior to when it becomes biblically prohibited. And even according to that version, where you said that a person errs an hour and a bit, we should be permitted to eat chametz until the end of the 5th hour, slightly more than an hour before midday. Why then Rabbi Yehuda hold that the rabbis advanced the prohibition against eating chametz to the beginning of the 5th hour? So basically, is challenging both opinions. He says, if according to Rabbi Meir the mistake is only a little bit, so let him eat during the 6th hour. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it's a mistake of half an hour, the way Abaye explains Rabbi Yehuda. So let him eat until the end of the 5th hour. El Amar Abaye, edut mesura lizrizim. Testimony is given over to conscientious people. Zrizim, people that are aware of what they're doing things quickly. Chametz lakol masur, whereas the chametz prohibition is given over to all. Which means Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda increase their level of concern. They are more careful about time-keeping mistakes with regard to the prohibition against consuming chametz. Chametz is very chamur, is strict, it's serious, and that's why the Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda increase their level of concern about timekeeping. V'Rav Aliva de Rabbi Meir, it's the Oraita. In chametz it says karet. Someone eat chametz on Pesach.
Oh.
כל האוכל מחמצת ביום ונכרתה. It says ונכרתה. Yeah. So it's a serious thing. So that's why the rabbis added a little bit more time to be safe, to be on the safe side.
Rabbi, one thing about the level of the chet. For example, we have sins. After life, we should bring the korban also. There will be a line. People will come with, for example,
it says
after 120.
We know about Rabbi Shmuel. He said that when Mashiach comes, when he has a chance, he will bring chatat. He will bring korban chatat.
So it will be a line. Every people will have their korbanot. I'll bring my korbanot for my sins. Everybody will have.
Yeah, but only Bet HaMikdash is existing.
But we will exist. In one day we'll exist.
There's a question of if you would need to bring a korban, if you would need to bring many korbanot for
all the sins, the package.
If let's say somebody made the same sin over and over again, so he'd have to bring many korbanot for one sin, or he would have to bring one for all the sins that he did. A machloket in regards to that.
So, but if Hashem forgives, He clean your sin, you still have to bring something? Or?
So it says that there's two first of all, there's no korban for sins that were done by mezid. You bring a korban only for
Shogeg.
sins that you did with shogeg, right? Unintentional sins. That's number one. And number two is the korban. The main concept of the korban is the forgiveness. Asking forgiveness is regretting for what was done, regretting and accepting that in the future you're not going to do it. So if somebody brings a korban that doesn't have regret, he didn't do anything. But we're bringing a korban. So today you're doing it through prayer, asking for slach lanu and so on. So another thing was accomplished with korban is to create a closeness again. So if somebody wronged you, did something bad to you, it was your friend. So you feel like he betrayed your trust. He betrayed you. You trusted him, and now he did something bad to you. So you don't want to be his friend again, right? So if he says, "Okay, here is a gift. I'm sorry for what I did." So you tell him, "I forgive you," but you're not going to be his friend the same way that you were before.
Which is wrong.
It's natural. That's the nature of human beings.
But it's wrong.
It's not per se wrong because we're human beings and we're afraid to get hurt again.
We
Right.
have to forgive.
I forgive you, but I'm afraid that I'm going to now I'm on my guard.
Okay.
I'm on the guard. Like I watch.
Okay.
So, in order to have the same trust again, how can I get the
You have
same
to
trust
behave
again?
many times.
No.
Good.
So that was the korban olah, the second korban. One korban is to pay back for what I took.
Khatat.
Yeah, chatat, to pay back for the sin. And to get forgiveness, to achieve forgiveness. Once you achieve forgiveness, now you bring korban olah. I'm trying to restore the relationship to be the same way, to create a kiruv the
Well,
same.
if he does the same sin, then you have to bring another korban. Beside,
Korban chatat, korban olah.
So you only can bring olah after bringing khatat.
Right. They come together. Chatat and olah.
so what happened to someone who he knows he's going to get lechaper ala sin, and he comes doing the same thing because you know it's going to be mechaper all the time.
That's a problem.
But that's not shogeg.
That's mezid.
He can bring a korban.
No?
That's
So
it.
if you do mezid, no korban.
Tshuva.
Yeah, he has to do a serious tshuva, but
Because you're doing it on purpose.
yeah, shogeg is mistake.
So somebody knows you're not allowed to smoke and eat Yom Kippur, and he does smoke and eat Yom Kippur. Is that mezid?
If he really knows and understands
Of
it,
course.
yeah,
It's nothing to understand. You know Yom Kippur is a holy day, you're not allowed to do this and that, and you're doing it.
yeah,
So that's mezid.
yeah.
Lo befarhes, yeah, but
Rabbi, I had a question yesterday about this. So, if you know there is fire in this house, and you let people go there, and they gonna be into the fire, you should announce fire, fire, fire. And I don't want to criticize any Chabad and Sfadim, but we should not be like this. Fire, fire, fire.
We do it all along. We do it all the time.
But we do very, only for people who come here. It's not.
No, I mean,
Jews, you have to pay attention.
מה השאלה שלו?
no, I'm not. He's asking if
Red flag.
if people are sinning, right? If people are sinning, let's say they don't keep Shabbat or they don't put on tefillin, or they eat non-kosher.
And they come here.
No, forget
No.
coming here or not coming here. They don't eat these things, so they are like touching fire, right? They're going to be punished for it. So
And they don't know. They don't
why
know.
don't we scream to them that there's a fire? You're doing something wrong, and we need to save you. We try to save them. It's fire. They're touching, doing something that they're going to get hurt. So there's two. First of all, the example that you're saying is different because when you see fire, the guy knows he's gonna get, for sure he's getting hurt immediately.
So he will not go.
Right. So no, even you're physically saving him. Physically saving him.
Okay.
And we have the obligation, if we see somebody drowning, somebody is in a fire, to try to save him. To try to save him.
Worst, Rabbi, to kill
Try to save him.
Neshama is worst.
No, of course. But we have to be smart also.
How to do it?
So he would listen to us. I can scream fire, like you have groups in Israel, they're screaming Shabbos, Shabbos, and they throw stones at people who...
This is wrong.
Why is it wrong? They're screaming, it's fire, there's a fire, you need to scream. But it doesn't help. Why it doesn't help? The people who got rocks on their car, they're not going to stop desecrating Shabbat. They'll continue desecrating Shabbat. So what do you do?
Nice.
How do you speak to them so they should listen?
Nice way.
Today, you have to understand the world that we're living in. Today, people not receiving criticism. You criticize somebody, he immediately dismisses it. Doesn't want to listen. They don't care. They don't want to hear it.
No.
The only way they would hear it, if you tell it to them in an indirect way. Even with kids, you want your kids to listen to you, tell them a story. There was a kid named Yosef. And Yosef went, and he went like this, and this is what happened to him. He tell you, you're talking about me? No, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. It's not you. I'm telling you, it's not you. It's you, but it's not you. And you tell him a story, and he gets it. You understand? But you talk to them, you talk to them, fire, screaming. That guy's crazy. Keep on screaming till tomorrow. Okay. That's the world that we're living. You have to speak in a very smart way to get some. Even with your wife, even with our wives. If you want someone if you want someone to listen to you, you have to say it in a smart way.
It's true.
So besides, also I don't know how every Chabad house does it. I'm saying
every Jew,
each person does it in his own way, but you have to understand that also with every person, the conversation should be a little bit different, because what talks to you not necessarily talks to him. Talks to him, not necessarily will talk to you. So unfortunately, we cannot just take a microphone and scream Shabbat, and if that would work, it doesn't work that way.
Rabbi, for 7 years I was teaching kids, 16 years old, how to drive. You can't yell at him.
Yeah.
After 15 minutes, I'm making him drive already.
Right.
He's on the street already driving. He can't believe it. He's so excited. He's so happy. Especially when after an hour, he's already pushing the gas, the metal to the pedal. And he's going fast. And he can't believe this. So I said, slow down. He doesn't hear me. He wants to go. He's happy now. He's driving. He can't believe. Then I raised my voice. I said, I told you, slow down, right? Oh, yeah. Now, in the beginning, I said, I told you, slow down. What are you doing? That doesn't work.
Right.
He doesn't hear me. And he keeps going because he's so nervous now. He's not paying attention to what I'm saying. He's paying attention to the screaming. So then, slow down. I told him, slow down, please. Before the light, start putting the signal now. Now he puts the signal. What I'm saying here, that only can hear you if you talk quietly, the kids or anybody, even the wife.
I saw once, as a kid, I was reading the magazines of the Air Force. So the Air Force had, they used to interview pilots. So the pilots that went through the Yom Kippur War and the 6 Day War. So one pilot said that one of the most important things that they need to have is they have to have control over themselves, not to get excited, not to get fearful, because many situations so he gave an example. He said that one time they had a mission in Syria, or Egypt, Jordan, one of those places, and what do they do against the airplanes? They have anti-aircraft missiles that they would shoot a missile, and when a missile is flying and trying to get to the plane has systems that tell him that there's a missile that is on his way. Missile coming.
Coming, right.
So
You see it in the screen.
so inside the cockpit you hear boom, boom, boom. They're telling you red flag, red flag. You gotta do something, it's coming.
That makes the pilot
the
nervous.
missile chases the heat of the plane. It goes after the heat because the plane produces heat.
Attracts.
So it tracks it. So you have maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds to react. If you don't react, you're dead. It hits the plane and you're dead. So this pilot is saying that the missile is coming and the whole plane is shaking, telling him do something, and he's freezing. He's the first time
Shocked.
he's flying and he doesn't know, he can't react. So his friends are screaming to him, brake, you gotta brake. He's not listening to them. So he says the commander told everybody to be quiet, and he told them, Gadi, brake. And he said the moment he said it, he broke. So you reminded me.
He listens to him.
But it's very hard for somebody,
No?
there's a missile.
Keep the control.
Right. Gadi. So
Back to
we
who?
see, but we learn from it. If you're panicking, you
Oh,
only
okay.
Don't act.
you
All
only
right.
transmit panic to them, and they wouldn't respond to you. You
Yes,
say,
more
fire,
than
fire!
15.
You're going to Gehenna.
Okay,
It's
very
so hot in there. It's
Thank
so
you.
hot. You're gonna burn.
Wow.
And then nobody's gonna listen to
I
you.
like it.
No one's gonna listen, but you know how to calm it
calm
down
down.
and find a way and tell him. And he says it himself, not a religious guy. It's not a story with religious people. And they're
Right.
telling you that when this commander told it to him in a very controlled, gentle way, Gadi, break, he broke.
Rabbi.
And he said when he broke, he said he saw he saw it was like last second he saw the plane. He see from his he saw the missile going up. He missed him by.
Mamash ba. Second.
Yeah,
Rabbi, did you ever try to teach your kid how to drive? Or not yet.
I did.
How old is your old one?
15.
15?
Yeah.
You did try?
I not tried. I'm driving.
Oh, you
I'm not trying. I taught them how to drive.
Okay.
That's it. They're driving.
How did you feel in the beginning? I mean, you have no brakes on the other side.
You know, I said Tamud Nafshim
There's
Plishtim.
no brakes.
Tamud Nafshim Plishtim.
He's going suicide.
Yeah.
But the best thing to do for you the first time is go to a dead parking lot, it's called.
Yeah, he went to a quiet place. I told
Dead
them.
parking lot.
What I do is I make them first. I train them on the brakes. I tell them don't let go of the brake.
You don't have to do that.
Let go of the brake, stop. No, because I want to know that when I tell them to stop, they'll be able to stop. That's the most important thing. They'll be able to
No,
stop.
that's not. That's
To
not
push
it.
the gas, everybody can push the pedal. To push on the brakes.
The best way to teach him that, what you just said, is during the driving. But don't go fast, slowly. What I do in the beginning, I take him to a dead parking lot, and I say, come over here. You sit here, I sit
Yeah.
here. I give him all the spiel about what you do, how you do it. First thing you do is put your seat belts, then adjust the mirrors, left and right, and the one in the middle. I give him all everything. Then I said, now, listen to me, I said. Put and drive. Put your foot on the brakes and look at me. From now on, don't look at me anymore. You look in the screen here. See this windshield? It's your TV, I said. You gotta look over there all the time. When I talk to you, don't look at me. The car is gonna go by itself, I said, tell him. But leave the foot on the brakes and let it go.
No,
slowly.
when I was learning how to drive, the teacher was telling me, his name was Meir, he used to tell me, the lady that walked by the street, what was she wearing?
What?
What was she wearing?
Oh,
And like he wanted to see that I see everything that happens, that you pay attention to everything that's
Right.
happening in the road.
well, he made a joke,
And,
but
and he wanted to, like he tells me, do you see the red light? Do you see the light? Like he was far away. But he
Still,
wanted
slow
to train you
pay attention.
to pay attention to. So I was trying to say the same thing to my kids, to really pay attention to what's happening in the
exactly.
road.
And also tell them to use the mirror left and right all the time.
But it's late. You can't teach them everything in one shot. They need to know the mechanics of it. And then once they know the mechanics
You
of it,
teach
they can
whatever
learn.
comes along at
Right,
that
yeah,
particular hour that
Right.
you're teaching.
Yeah.
You can see what he's doing wrong, right away you correct it.
But
You
over
see
here
what-
at 15, you already.
Oh yeah, 15 you can
15,
drive.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Not 16? Oh my God, that's scary. That's much more scary now.
Yeah.
Now you're talking 15. 16 is already scary.
Why can they drive a car at 16 and they can't drink alcohol at only 21? They can vote at 18. They can decide who's going to be the president at 18,
18?
but they can only drink alcohol at 21.
Well,
It's
obviously.
whole but they can drive a car with 200 horsepower. They can kill God forbid, a whole.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
What?
It's wrong.
Why is it wrong? It's been working.
If you trust them also with everything else.
No, you can't trust him with everything. Come on, you know better than that. Alcohol
But
takes
if you
your
drink
brain away,
alcohol,
takes your life
you drink
away.
alcohol, you're harming yourself. If you're driving a car, they can harm other people. Think about it. You drive, they can harm
Actually,
other people.
it's more dangerous.
Yeah.
to drive.
Of course, it's more dangerous, but you know, the rabbi said, what's the reason between this and this, and why they don't let to do this and not that?
I don't know the reason.
Obviously,
I don't know
when
the
you get
reason.
drunk, you lose your head, you lose your mind. But 15 driving, you're straight, you're clear, you can do that. Alcohol, you
I don't
cannot do
think
that.
so. I don't think so.
Our kids maybe, but when you talk about kids that are
Yeah.
the kids that go to
15?
parties and things like that,
Okay.
I don't know. Are they allowed to smoke? Smoking? I don't know what the age was smoking.
Regular smoke?
Yeah.
Cigarettes? No, there's a
It's also
certain age you gotta
21.
buy cigarettes. That's why some kids from school, they get an adult to buy them a cigarette. And alcohol, the same thing. They tell somebody, they know, do me a favor, can you buy me a bottle of this? And he's stupid, he will go and buy it for them. And then they drink.
So רב אליבא דרב מאיר דאמר אדם תוך שתי שעות חסר משהו מתחילת 5 לא נכון, we should not be permitted to eat חמץ from the beginning of the 5th hour. 5 חמה במזרח ו7 חמה במערב. 5th hour the sun is in the east and the 7th hour the sun is in the west. Yachi b'shit. Now if that's the case, we should be permitted to eat chametz even in the 6th hour, since the sun is not yet in the west at that time. The 6th hour, we said that the sun is in the west only in the 7th hour. So why can't we eat chametz in the 6th hour? In the 6th hour, the sun is in the middle of the sky. And it is therefore possible to make the mistake. Here it shows you the person's horizon, noontime sun. You can check it today. Look at in the afternoon. I guess at 10 o'clock. See the Rav Aliva the Rav Yehuda.
Sun in the middle, is it 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock? Huh?
It says that the 6th hour.
That would be what? 2 or 3?
No, not the 6th of. It's different. By here, 6 hours. It's already dark. It's already 6 o'clock.
שמש באמצע, רק ב3.
Right.
3. That's when the sun is in the middle. And it's the hottest one.
So it says over here, the 7th hour, the sun is in the west. In the 7th hour from the beginning of the day. So let's say around 11 o'clock, the sun is in the west. East, west.
You can't sit too long, it gets
Your
dark.
coat.
Yeah.
So ורב אליבא דרב יהודה אמר להם 3 שעות חסר משהו. Rava says that a person would, according to Rabbi Yehuda, would make a mistake of 3 hours and change. We should not be permitted to eat chametz from the beginning of the 4th hour. 5 חמה, the Gemara answers 5 חמה במזרח ו7 חמה במערב, וכל שכן 4 in the 5th hour the sun is in the east, and in the 7th hour the sun is in the west. And certainly there can be no confusion with the 4th hour when the sun is even farther to the east. So we should be permitted to eat chametz even during the 5th hour. The Gemara answers, This testimony is given over to conscientious people. Chametz lakol masur, whereas chametz prohibition is given over to all. So you can't compare edut to chametz. Testimony is only to the serious guys giving testimony. Chametz is everyone, so you got to be careful. You have to worry about those who are not very careful. Rav Amar Lava, in the time of the Rabbi Yehuda, that is not the reason of Rabbi Yehuda for advancing the chametz prohibition, because no one will confuse the 5th hour with the 7th. Rabbi Yehuda follows his reasoning elsewhere. He said in another Mishnah, the disposal of chametz is fulfilled only through burning it. What do you mean biur chametz? When you say biur chametz, you do it through burning it. So the rabbi gave you time to gather wood, to collect the wood for fuel. Right? You need to make a bonfire. So they gave you time to do that. Hence, no question can be asked for the laws of testimony which are based on mistaken timekeeping. When it comes to testimony, you don't have to gather anything. You just come and say what you need to say. Ravina challenged Rava from a Baita that elaborates Rabbi Yehuda, when must the chametz be disposed? Shalei b'shas biur, not at the time of its disposal. Aval b'shas biur, however, at the time of its disposal, ashbos v'chodav, its elimination can be carried through any means. The rabbis advanced the chametz prohibition as a decree on account of cloudy day. See, when the sun is not visible, and consequently it is not possible to tell the time from its position in the sky. So if that's the case, if we're worried about cloudy day, if that's the case, we should also not be permitted to eat chametz even during the 4th hour. To have a little bit more, to be more cautious, yeah. According to Rabbi Yehuda, also people can make a mistake of 3 hours. So if you let them eat on the 4th hour, they can end up eating in the 7th hour.
Also is a problem. Should be 3.
Yeah, go. So the Amar of Papa Abba's Man Suud al Akoli. So he said the 4th hour is a mealtime for everyone. There is therefore no concern that a person will not realize the correct time then. So there's a biological clock that tells you when is the time to eat. It's like, when do you usually eat breakfast? Do you eat breakfast at when you wake up? Do you eat breakfast at 10 o'clock usually? When do you eat breakfast?
Me? Yeah. I don't have this really.
No, I'm saying, what do you do every day?
After Gemara, I drink a cup of milk and coffee.
Okay.
That's it.
And when do you gonna eat?
1, 2.
So your breakfast is 2 o'clock. 1 or 2 o'clock.
I don't have this like exact time.
No exact time, but there's some. When do you know what to eat? Do you feel hungry?
Yeah,
right?
1:30, 2.
Right. The 4th hour is a meal time for everyone. It says the 1st hour of the day is the time for the meal of the ludim. Who is the ludim? So it says ludim
19.
is a certain cannibalistic tribe.
They
Eat people.
Meat.
Yeah, cannibals. Yeah. Being exceedingly gluttonous, they would eat their main mealtime at the first opportunity. They're very involved with eating, so the first chance. So when is the 4th hour? It says Shal Shoina. Shal Shoina means as soon as they wake up, 6 o'clock.
Wow.
You know, I saw in Thailand people eating barbecue at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. They had like wagons with barbecue on them, and they would sell people kebabs or whatever it is on.
They also eat in America. They eat bacon and eggs in the morning.
Yeah,
It's also
I don't know if it's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, but yeah, people go to.
hotels.
So it says that it used to be the ludim, and the ludim were the cannibals.
Okay.
And now, second hour, machalistim. Shnia machalistim. Second hour is the time of the meal of the thieves. Okay? They were also glutton, but not as much as the cannibals.
Just in time. I can't believe it now.
And we were just speaking about it says the first hour of the day, the Ludins used to eat their breakfast. The first hour of the day, meaning as soon as they wake up, they eat breakfast.
Who does?
Cannibals. Cannibals
I
ate
think you said the Rubens.
Ludins.
Yeah, that's what reminds me of the joke. What kind of
No, they were late because they were eating breakfast.
No, today I was up at 4:17. So
Wow.
if I have it now, it's not really the first hour of the day for me.
Right.
So,
No, but we go
Just
by
so we're
we go
clear.
by sunrise.
one
So I should have stayed in bed.
one cannibal says, "Am I late for dinner?" The other one says, "Yeah, everybody's eating."
Yeah. It was eaten.
All right, now we have to catch up.
So the second hour of the day,
12b3.
I know, but I'm on 12A1
the
because
second hour is the time of the meal of the thieves. They're also very gluttony type of people, so they ate the second hour. Shlishis machal yoshin. The third hour is the time for the meal of those who inherit great wealth. So they have no rush. They're not going to work. They're not shoving the coffee down their throat. They get up, looking at the ocean view, and sipping the coffee, opening maybe their bank account to see the numbers.
Just to check, see the zeros like you
And
say.
see the zero.
Remember the Rabbi that used to come here, I think 3 years ago? He used to put a cup of tea here, and I know someone asking, drink, so I have to reserve. I remember he said this was very...
I have to deserve the tea.
Reserve, yeah. Let's stay there.
Yeah. So, and the fourth hour is Ma'achal Poalim. The fourth hour is the time for the meal of laborers. Chamish is Ma'achal Talmidei Chachamim.
Laborers means in laboring Torah, no?
It could be also, yeah. And Chamish is Ma'achal Talmidei Chachamim. It says that the fifth hour is the meal of the Torah scholars. And the sixth hour, Ma'achal Kol Adam, the sixth hour is the time for the meal of all other people. So whoever doesn't fall into these categories is eating at the sixth hour. Chamishit is Talmidei Chachamim. Okay. Fifth, fourth hour, the laborers. Third hour is those who inherit great wealth. It says in 21, beneficiaries of large inheritance do not eat early because they are gluttonous. Rather, since they own a fortune that was not gained through their own effort, they are uncertain about.
I'm concerned.
They are unconcerned about earning a livelihood.
Yeah.
Free from such pursuits, they eat an earlier hour than others. So they're not specifically glutton. It's just that they're not worried about work, so they can eat comfortably in the third hour. Wow, Papa, Revi is one.
So would that be retired people also? It could be.
Yes.
Because,
They're not worried about earning a living.
it's not that
They're not
'cause
concerned.
it sounds like it's limited to inherited wealth, but
Right. But you have a lot of, in Florida is known to have a lot of government workers that worked in the north. They came here, they get a job again. So
Right.
like a police officer worked 20
Right.
years, he's 45.
I could have done
He
that.
comes here, he works another 10, 20 years, he gets, I met a guy, told me he get double pension.
It's called
Right.
double dipping.
it's not double
Yeah.
dipping. You completed that and now you're doing something else.
Right.
Yeah.
I could have done that.
So what I'm saying is that having a pension does not necessarily removes the concern of livelihood from you.
Right, true.
It helps you knowing that there is certain income coming in,
Right.
but you might still be concerned. A guy with a fortune is less likely to be concerned with his expenses, unless he is completely going crazy with his expenses. But if he keeps his expenses low and he still has tremendous wealth, he has no worries.
If it's inherited, if he made it on his own, it's a different story. Like a lot of the people that came out of the Depression and made it, they never thought of themselves as having money.
Right, they never stopped.
Right.
Right? They never really enjoyed it.
Right.
It's a Holocaust survivor.
And also, a lot of business people that's their passion. They don't stop. They want their money constantly to be revolving,
Right.
right?
The Holocaust survivors also that.
In a way, every business venture can lead to more stress because it's a you don't know the outcome,
Right.
but they still do it
Right.
time after time.
Right.
So meaning that they were never looking for the pursuit of surety and quietness and peaceful life. That's not what they wanted. If they wanted it, then the first million they would say, okay, I have enough, whatever amount needed.
Right. Could
for-
you be, or 10 million, say, I need,
Right, whatever it is, the amount that I need for me to live a peaceful life. And I saw a boat in the Intercoastal. It says on the boat, they put names on the boat.
yeah.
So that boat had a very interesting name. They said checked out.
Right. That's a shame. That's a shame.
Checked out means
Check that means I'm done with the world. Now it's just me, my boat, the sun.
I'm
the
done.
fish.
It's like
I did it.
it's checking in. Checking in is like you clicking in, you're getting into the work, and checking out is like I saw it. I was laughing.
Yeah, it's hysterical. It's hysterical.
Like the Roach Motel.
It was a really nice yacht, and it's a nice way of checking out. I'm telling you, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but if you're already doing it, he didn't.
I think I saw the same one because my wife and I took a walk.
He
2
did
nights
it
ago
right.
by the Intercoastal, and a yacht went by. Maybe not the biggest one I've ever seen, but the way this was moving along, you could see it was like. And and you can see on the back, there's a waiter serving wine to the.
Oh, wow.
I thought it was like this guy was. My desire for that
There's
was
this
zero.
boat. There's the boat that takes you in Fort Lauderdale. It takes you between all the big houses and the yachts
Yeah,
next to them.
That's not like.
So there was a guy here. I told it to you. It was a guy. It was an attorney, Mr. Stern, and he did when the market went down to 06, 07, 08. He did this robo signing scheme, meaning he was helping the bank to get rid of homeowners very quickly he did something with the signing,
Yeah,
like
that
he
kickback
accelerated with his ingenuity, he accelerated the court process. Not necessarily everything was legal, but he made tremendous amount of money by handling so many cases quickly. That's what I know about the case. Anyway, so when they take you, they show you his yacht and the amount of staff that is working there, 200 million yacht and this. So the guy says he's like a tour guide. He explains about. So he said that when the court find out, they penalized them, and he had to pay $40,000.
Right.
He had to pay for his scheme $40,000.
And he fought that. After making, they settled on 28.
He was paying his staff $200,000 to be there or more, and
A canals.
isn't it a joke?
Don't do that again.
That's not even that for him. It's not even.
I'm like, I'm gonna have to do this. You promise you won't do it again? Right.
So yeah, but you have these wealthy people around here. You have these yachts. It's
Shocking.
crazy. It's crazy how much money. I don't know why they're so expensive. The whole day you're rocking.
You know what's worse than? You know what's
No, they have what do you call it? Spins?
Stabilizers.
Yeah, but what's it called?
But you still-
Gyroscopes.
You still
They have gyroscopes that hold it steady.
Yeah?
You know what gyroscope is?
Yeah, but if you go on the ocean and the waves are
Yeah, up and down, but not side to side. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, you can have such a storm. But these things they have big gyroscopes, man.
Anyway, you know what's worse than?
Because when you're
They
pouring the
live on
wine,
it.
when you're playing the champagne that's $400 a bottle, you don't want to lose the spill.
You know what's
That's my
worse
money.
than buying the yacht?
So you didn't have a design for it. You saw it.
I I took a picture of it, you know, my mental mind. I took, oh, look at this. This is very nice. But do I think I want to do something I can get to that level? What do I have to do? What kind of sacrifice I have to make? You know.
I want to know if
100% not
if
for me.
kosher $400 wine tastes different than kosher $8 wine.
If you want, if it tastes different,
The $400 wine.
you need to understand wine to feel the difference.
Yeah, no,
I don't know if I would tell the difference. I don't know.
The Scotch.
they picked the wrong product.
Yeah, you need to really be a connoisseur, right?
Yeah, connoisseur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You need to know wine.
anyway, the worst thing about
They
it-
did one time a joke about this. They put blinds on their eyes, and
Right,
they
but-
gave them very expensive wine, and they gave them a lousy wine, and they said the lousy wine tastes better than the expensive wine.
I was at a wine tasting with my wife when we were younger. We were like in our 20s, and we were like the kids' table. We were all in our late 20s. This is all it was a more hush of crowd than my table was. You know? And the guy, was saying, "This is wine, is this, and this," and everyone had 8 glasses in front of them, 4 for whites and 4 for reds. Because you take some,
Wow.
a piece of bread between this, So, and you're supposed to take a little bit, and so what we do. But by the time we were like halfway through it, I said, I don't know, I'm not so sure. So I took some of the wines and mixed them together.
Mix the oil.
I was
Yeah.
together, and so I called the guy. I said, we're having trouble with this one. Could you help us out? The guy, he goes, he said, okay, so this has the notes of this, and we all burst out laughing. It was all garbage because we just mixed the stuff together. He was talking about this, the legs, it has this, and, the palate. There's the bitter taste. There's 3 bitter parts of the taste of the tongue. So this.
More than
And we were all already drunk anyway. So now we're like, the only thing I don't remember from that, did we get thrown out or not? That I don't remember. it was my whole life is based on stuff like this.
Hey. Really, you got him confused. He says all the notes in the cup. Too many notes in the cup.
Fruity.
You got a big motion, Karen over there. What's his last name?
Okay.
So Rav Papa is challenging the time of eating, and he says, Rav Papa says, Levi is man seuda lakoili. He says the 4th hour is the time for the meal of all other people. Today we probably asked Dunkin' Donuts, since America runs on Dunkin', according to them. So we have to ask Dunkin'
You had it
Donuts.
according to them because
Right.
I'm not positive.
Did you ever meet
They
him?
put it on the cup. So we can ask them what time people eat. If Rav Papa is if the opinion of Rav Papa, when is the rush hour in Dunkin'? Is it 7 o'clock? Is it 8 o'clock? Is the 4th hour is the time for the meal of all other people, not like the 6th hour as we just said before. Say the opposite. The 4th hour is the time for the meal of all other people. The 5th hour is the time for meal of laborers. The 6th hour is the time for the meal of Torah scholars.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
We're busy learning.
Yeah. So some
say
say they would push it for the latest time, purposely. They would try to prolong the time of davening and learning, but not to be like everyone else, not to rush for eating. That was the iskafir, so right? We say iskafir. It says busy with the studies. Hemek she'ila. Based on the bread, is difficult to understand why Rabbi Yehuda permits chametz consumption in the 4th hour, according to Rabbi's explanation, even though most people recognize that hour because the mealtime workers and Torah scholars do not eat until after. Okay. So, Amar Abaye, so Mikan va'elach, gezoyrek even lachemes. Oh, that's a tough statement. So he says, if you're eating after, maybe it will change your eating habits, David. Because it says that if you eat past the 6th hour, it's like throwing a stone into a bag, which means your stomach, your intestines are like a bag, and then you're going to be throwing a stone. So then when we're going to eat if we miss the hour? Let's do it 24, what he explains about it. It says, the analogy is drawn to a bag of wine,
a leather bottle maybe?
probably, into which a stone is thrown. Although the bag appears to contain more wine, in fact, the amount of wine has not changed. Likewise, eating after the 6th hour only seems to be beneficial, but it is actually of no benefit. This refers to someone who eats after the 6th hour has ended. However, although it is preferable to eat at the beginning of the 6th hour, a meal during the rest of the 6th hour is still beneficial, but not at the 7th hour. That's what Morgan Avraham says, that it's still beneficial during the 6th hour. The beginning of the 6th hour is the best time, according to this, to eat. Because the Gemara says that the breakfast saves you from 80-something sicknesses. It speaks about the importance of breakfast.
Is COVID-19 one of them?
I'm sure. Pas Shachris, 80 something.
It's a big deal.
What's machla? What's machla? Machla is mem is 40, chet is 8, so 48. Lamed is 30, 78, and hey, 70.
5.
So 83 sicknesses. That's what it saves you from. The Gemara says. From machla.
Be a lot cheaper than taking a vaccine.
A lot safer. That too. So what is the 6th hour today? Without
So if we count sunrise,
Yeah.
we have to look at sunrise.
Sunrise.
And if sunrise it's at 6 o'clock, or I don't know, let's say 7 o'clock. So I'm not sure exactly what time is sunrise. The fact that we put on tefillin at 7, we're allowed to put on tefillin at 7, shows it's probably around that time.
Okay.
So 8, 9, 10, 11.
So we're now approximately at that 50-50.
Yes. Yeah. You might eat. You ate a little early today. Maybe.
I'll do tshuva tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to do tshuva.
Yeah. So, no, you should have every day a decent breakfast. And used to be more shakshukas over here, right, Shmuel?
Yeah, back in the day. I was just telling them Danny's was still the best.
But usually makes you sleepy, the breakfast, no? It's not
Well,
so. Some people.
Dunkin', that's why the country runs on Dunkin'. Because they have coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
a nice breakfast.
The bread mixes.
אמר רבי, לא אמרון עליו דלא תמיד בצפו. This was stated only in the case of one who did not eat anything in the morning. אבל תמיד בצפו, but in the case of one who did eat something in the morning, late lanbo, there's no problem with starting the first meal after the 6th hour. So the moment you taste something in the morning, so you should try to taste something in the morning. אמר רבשי, מחלוקת בין כך הולך בחמץ. Ravashi said, like the dispute regarding testimony, so is the dispute regarding chometz, right? Because in testimony we said, how much of difference, I mean, if you examine one witness and then the other witness says completely different time, how much time they need to err for it to still be considered like a valid testimony. If it's more than 3 hours, according to Rabbi Yehuda or according to Rabbi Meir, they have less room for mistake. So Ravashi comes and says it's very similar. Chometz, kach b'chalokas b'chometz, same thing in edus. In testimony and chometz are very similar. Pshita, nuach damrina, and this is what we have been saying to reconcile to dispute. That the answer that we answered to reconcile the two Mishnahs are valid answer. And do not say that it is actually a Tanaic dispute. The Mishnah, it says in 27, the Mishnah regarding Chometz Rabbi Meir concerned about 1 hour error, while Rabbi Yehuda concerned about 2 hour error. Regarding testimony, the Mishnah in Sanhedrin indicates that Rabbi Meir is concerned about 2 hour mistake, while Rabbi Yehuda is concerned about 3 hour mistake. That's one. So we have Rava and we have Abaye. Each one interprets the Machlokes of Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda differently. But in both cases, Abaye and Rava both agree that Rabbi Meir does not give you much room for mistake in terms of in timekeeping.
Time differential.
Yeah, time differential. And when it comes to Rabbi Yehuda, there's a little bit more time differential. So, Amar Rav Shimon bar Ashi lo yishanu ela b'shoes. They taught these rulings only with respect to a discrepancy in the hours of the day. But if one witness says that the offense occurred before sunrise, One says the offense occurred after sunrise. Edusam b'teila, the testimony is nullified. Why? Because one is before nets and one after the nets. That's obviously too much of a discrepancy. Pshita, the Gemara says it's obvious. If one says before sunrise and one says during sunrise, also edusam b'teila, the testimony is null. Hanami pshita. But this also is obvious. Why is it not so obvious? The Gemara answers, both of them are saying one thing. And this one who said that the offense occurred at sunrise, was standing in the glow before sunrise. It was merely the sun's rays that he saw. And he mistakenly thought that the sun was already rising. Kamashma Rav Shimon bar Ashi informs us that no one would make such a mistake, and so the conflicting testimonies are avoided. Bruchim Tiv.
It seemed like the whole show went much faster today. Yeah.